Welcome back. A single scroll survived by pure accident, and that changes everything about your world. What if no fire ever touched Alexandrite's library at all? Most people think the answer is simple. We'd know more ancient texts. And true, but thatch nowhere near the real impact. Here's the first thing almost nobody expects: a library with no copies dies anyway. The sat stacked in one place. Scholars copied them by hand. But copying takes time, effort, and people who actually care. When more fractured into 1,000 kingdoms, the scribes scattered with it. No fire needed, just neglect and time. But imagine the library never burned. What if someone had copied the before the collapse, spread them across monasteries, villages, merchant routes? Then the collapse wouldn't destroy knowledge, it would only scatter it. Thatch when everything shifts. Because copied knowledge spreads like water. It flows downhill, seeps through cracks, reaches places you never planned. One monastery in Ireland holds a copy. Another sits in a merchant's house in Baghdad. A third travels in a scholar's trunk to Constantinople. The knowledge is no longer trapped in one city. It spreads across a continent instead. When the Dark Ages arrive, some copies burn. Others sit forgotten in a dusty corner. Some get scraped off to make room for prayer books. But not all of them vanish. One text reaches a Jewish community in Spain. Another hides in a Syrian monastery library. When the Islamic Golden Age blooms, those scattered texts suddenly become treasures. Scholars in Baghdad and Cairo hunt for them. Each copy found gets translated, studied, built upon. The text font just survived the collapse. They get read by new eyes, challenged, improved. What do you want to K? Mathematics doesn't stay Greek. It becomes Arabic, Hebrew, Persian. Each language brings new eyes, new mistakes, new fixes. But a Persian astronomer spots an error in Euclid. She corrects it, writes it down. That fix reaches Al-Khwarizmi in Baghdad. He builds on it, creates algebra. But what if that same correction never reached Baghdad at all? Al-Khwarizmi loses that boost. Algebra arrives decades later from a different source. The die with flaws. That delay echoes forward 200 years. But every scattered text survives. Every fix spreads faster. Centuries compress. Discovery accelerates. You're alive right now because those scattered copies reach the hands that change science. But here's what shifts when you trace it forward. A printed book took days of work in the 1400s. A manuscript survived in only 1 or 2 copies. So, when Gutenberg invented the printing press around 1440, he could only print what still existed in his time. Most ancient texts were gone. But if those scattered copies had survived the medieval centuries, Gutenberg prints them all. Hundreds of copies. Thousands. Spread across Europe in years. Every university gets them. Every scholar has access. Now, a medical student in Paris reads Galen. She notices his description of the heart doesn't match what she sees in the cadaver. Galen was wrong. She proves it. Her finding spreads to Bologna, to Padua, to every medical school in Europe. Without Alexandrite's texts, Galena mistake stays hidden for another 100 years. With them, medical schools leap forward by 150 years. Surgery gets safer. More people live long enough to have children. Population grows. Cities grow with it. But the ripple doesn't stop with medicine. A Venetian trader reads Archimedes on levers. He builds a better crane for his warehouse. Other merchants steal the design. Trade moves faster. Wealth flows. You right now carry that wealth. A peasant in the Carpathians reads a text on irrigation. His village's crops double. His neighbor hears about it. She asks for a copy. Knowledge moves faster than empires. And Alexandrite's texts weren't alone. The library held Aristotle, Euclid on geometry, Galen on how bodies work, Ptolemy mapping the stars. Each one reached different minds. A map maker in Sicily reads Ptolemy. He notices the coordinates are wrong, so he recalculates using his own measurements. His corrected map spreads across trade routes. Navigators trust it more than polysemy. Your own existence depends on this. Better maps meant fewer sailors drowned. More ships reached distant shores. Trade routes opened earlier than they should have. Wealth concentrated faster. Cities grew. And you were born into that world. Wealth feeds ambition. A merchant wants a faster ship. He reads Archimedes on pulleys. His carpenter builds a better rig. That ship sails past competitors. He grows rich before his rivals do. Now he can hire scholars himself. They hunt for more texts. They translate and spread them. A century of progress compresses into decades. The printing press arrives to a world already starving for knowledge. Instead of printing only what survived by accident, Gutenberg prints Alexandrite's whole inheritance. Whole inheritance. The Renaissance doesn't creep. It floods.